Welcome, 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 live from the AMP Media Studios in Boca Raton, Florida. Hosts Don and Freddie S. Take it up a notch to make your evening a bit spicier. More laughs and just some added evening fun. It's the Brooklyn Cafe Show After Hours, coming to your radio waves on True Oldies VCMG Live. If you want to join us on the show or to share a thought or idea, give us a call at 866-224-5422. Hey, and win tickets to a live broadcast of the show.
Welcome to After Hours.
Penguins still a penguin. Can you laugh till you
put it in a tuxedo and it's still a penguin.
Can you just say welcome?
Welcome.
And then I got you from here.
To all our friends out there on Memorial Day weekend.
Happy Monday. Happy Memorial Day, everyone.
And we salute all those that allow us to do what we do for the freedom to do it.
All of those who have served our great country, thank you for your service to the families and friends who have supported them. We thank you for your service while everyone is out relaxing and enjoying the day. We thought we'd bring you a little bit of gratitude today.
That's right. We have gratefulness beyond recognition. This is an old friend, OG, that used to be with us at the studio back in 17 and 18 through COVID and everything
I think
else.
it's 17 and 1800s. I'm thinking we're not that old.
No,
it feels that way.
2017. You're
Dress
such a
you
wise
up
guy
and put
today.
on a penguin.
I swear, this is where you came margaritas in the pool because this is
Because
what
it
you
had
got.
peanut butter. It's a forager meal.
There you go.
Peanut butter and rice cakes hold you over to after hours.
I know. And what do we have cooking? What's for today?
We've got Vismaya Rubin joining us of livingingratitudetoday.com. Check out her website. Some people call her the t-shirt lady. We call her a good friend, but there's always something to be grateful for. You know, our generation used to call it the silver lining. In every cloud, there's a silver lining in every circumstance. But in every situation, there is something to be grateful for. Sometimes you might not see it, but if you actually stop and take a breath, you'll find it.
That's right. You can order her shirts as well. If you want them for an occasion, we're going to be doing bingo with her. All sorts of stuff is coming.
Gratitude gangster, grateful, happiness, explaining everything. Sometimes you just need that graphic tee to get you through your day, to look down when you're having a rough moment and say, you know what, there is something to be grateful for. So we thought this would be a great Memorial Day edition of After Hours.
That's right. So just put that another burger on the Barbie and listen to a little bit of tunes or watch it on social media. You can watch it. Are we putting this on the cafe?
Let's do it.
On Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and everything else. So let's roll it out.
Happy Memorial Day.
All right, we're back.
Nice pieces they've been putting together.
They're doing, I'm going to tell you. They're doing some good stuff. Hey, did we finish the basketball one? Where's Shakespeare? Shakespeare, you want to wait until the series is over or you want to play this bad boy? Because at least today I need that done. Before 2.
He's got to add the sports highlights.
He does his sports piece with no highlights. Because he doesn't like the Knicks. But he lost. Because he has to put the Knicks. And he doesn't like the Knicks. But the Knicks beat the Cavs. So he should be at least play that for today. If you win tonight, then I'll do one with the Cavs.
It's very funny.
Not.
Very funny. Kind of like a throwback show today, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of nice. So we had Amy Reshevsky joining us, and now we've got Vismaya Rubin. Living in gratitude today, and I was on the plane heading to DC, and I think she commented on a post or something. I'm like, you know what? It's been way too long, and I had this captive time that I could sit and start texting you, and it is so great that you came in. You're up in Boca today, so it worked out beautifully.
Yes, absolutely. So when you ask, I say yes. That's kind of how it worked.
Well, tell us what you've been up to. What are you doing? It's been so long to catch up.
I've been creating shirts. I've been doing some teaching. I have been creating more shirts. I switched everything from printing and carrying and schlepping everything with me and doing a lot of shows to doing everything print on demand. And that was a very interesting, somewhat challenging process because I was a little stuck in my head and I'm a little hard-headed and I wanted to do things the way I was doing them. And a very good friend of mine said, Vismaya, you need to start doing print on demand. And I fought it back and forth. So now we're doing print on demand solely. I have over 200 designs. I think the magic for me is hearing the stories behind either why people buy the shirts or where they wear them to and what difference they have made. So that's been like the magic for me.
That's funny, because I was just thinking about it. I always wear your shirts when I travel, because I'm not a big t-shirt collector. I'm dressed all the time. So when you go, you go to the airport, you're like, what are you going to wear? I'm not a graphic tee kind of gal, except your shirts. I've got it in pink and black. So one takes me to the airport and one takes me back home. And that's one of those stories of what it is. And people always stop. They're like, oh, I love that. Because I think people stop and they breathe, and it makes you remember, wow, what am I grateful for?
So the other day I was in the grocery store and I'm doing my thing, minding my business. And this guy walks by me and he goes, and I kind of look at him and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, that's kind of odd. So he's like, your shirt told me to breathe. I'm like, oh, okay. Because I'm like, either I got it going on, like this guy is smelling me and I'm smelling really good, or like, I don't know. But so that was, yeah, they have little stories like that all the time. A friend of mine had a heart attack, and I remember I was like, what shirt am I going to wear today? I had to go walk. I had to go do something because my energy was like, ah. So I decided to go to the park, and like, what shirt am I going to wear? And I put on a shirt that said, happiness is contagious. And I'm walking through the park, and I can't tell you how many people stopped me and high-fived me and gave me a thumbs up. And it's the little things that matter. And I remember people would say to me when they would meet me, they're like, oh, you're the t-shirt lady. And it happened recently, and I was like, at first I was super offended. Like, the t-shirt lady. And then I stopped for a minute, I took a deep breath, and I'm like, well, let me tell you about my shirts and what they do. And I just kind of went on this rant, and she was like, oh, okay, I get it now.
Tell us about your shirts and what they can do.
They're magical. Like, they create conversations. They give people hope. They are worn to the people's best celebrations. They're worn to people's most challenging times. You know, somebody I know close to me, her brother had a triple bypass, and she wants everybody in her family to be wearing one day at a time shirts. I have another woman actually went into a coffee shop in South Florida, and two of my friends happened to be in the coffee shop. So they said, oh, we see your shirt, we know your shirt, where'd you get it? And she's like, oh, and they're like, do you know Vismaya? And the woman was like, I know her, I bought her shirt from her at an event we went to. And they sat down, they started talking and having this whole long conversation. And my friends invited this woman to an event, which took her to another event, which took her to another event. And she ended up doing this whole series with one of my friends. And the last time I saw her, it was like her face completely shifted. Like, she got to do all this emotional release and all this somatic healing. And that wouldn't have happened had she not had the shirt where my friend stopped her and said, hey, wait a minute.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's fun. When Lyndon and I have shirts and we wear them everywhere, and people always have a comment. You know, some use your name. Yes, it's hers. Some just grateful for it. I used to wear the Weight Watchers, and boy, I'm gonna tell you something. It hits home. It's like a calling for everybody that says, you know what? I'm losing weight. I'm feeling better. I should be more grateful. And people change. People just become nicer. You know, you should have these things printed up, and we should walk to Washington, D.C. with, I don't know, 50, 60,000 people wearing it. And not saying a word.
I'm ready.
Not saying the damn word.
Yeah.
And watch what happens.
Andrew, can we see if we can get some of the pictures from her website or from the print on it? Is it Living in Gratitude Today?
LivingInGratitudeToday.com.
So people can see some of them. But it's true. You know, when I travel, I onto the basics. My daughter has me into the basics. So you need your basic colored tees, your basic, especially out of South Florida. You're in DC in the Northeast, no one's walking around like I walk around. So you're like in the plain black shirts and the workout pants, or the gray shirt, or the black athleisure wear. But how great would it be to walk around in simple black tee, but at least it says grateful, or breathe, or something like that. A graphic tee that really means something.
There are so many that I have made that it's unbelievable. And people find them for different reasons. And I think the biggest, I'm always forgetting which camera to look at. So okay.
One of those.
You're good.
One of those. Okay. So this is real life happening right now. You know, it's always interesting to see what people choose and why they choose it. And I think the biggest reminder is whatever content you put out on social media, whatever you're doing, you never know who's paying attention, who's listening in the background, who's watching. And I think that's been one of the biggest lessons for me over the years, is because I haven't been putting out as much content as I used to, and for my own whatever reasons, but just remembering, like, you are always on the air and you're never stopping and you're always offering value and sharing things, and you never know who's watching and picking up little golden nuggets. And that has been the message I have received over and over this past few weeks, this past few years, actually.
Well, your shirt creates that opportunity, because sometimes when people are having a real bad moment and they see it, they light up. Everything changes. Everything's okay for a minute, and then from a minute turns to an hour, from an hour turns to a day. So I love it. People say to me, oh, you're the guy with the hat. Okay, so now I have to switch hats just to make sure I keep it honest. But there was a time I used to get offended. I said, you don't know my name, but you know the hat. Now I love it. I say, I'm the guy with the hat.
Yep.
And having the mark, you know, it's tough to be you.
Let's say peace, love, gratitude, and kindness.
And
Nice.
it's tough because when you start wearing stuff like this, they bring you the wrong food at the restaurant. You know, you got to make sure you got the shirt on, you got these things going, you got to stay on point.
Practice gratitude.
These are the women's shirts. They
Only
should
on days you want life to be
More colorful.
Oh, I love that.
It's a unique trait.
Yes,
that you've established.
That has happened to me so many times. Like, I was at the post office one time, and this guy was like screaming at the people in the post office, and, you know, like, why is it taking so long? And I remember, like, I could have totally fed into that. And then I looked down and I have a shirt that says grateful, and it's my company. There is no way that I was. So it gave me like a reality check to take a deep breath and go, you know what? At least we have the opportunity to send mail, and it's not $5,000. It's 25 cents or 50 cents to send a letter. And he's like, and I was like, well, at least it gave me a moment to breathe and not to get upset. So you're right. You have to put you in check, because you do not want to be the jerk who's screaming about something when you're wearing a shirt that says
grateful. You can't
grateful.
really change anything around you screaming, ranting, and raving. You could do a lot more with just a simple, you know, read this. You know, maybe you read this, you're grateful, just relax and watch it all work. Because people get nervous and they make more mistakes on the mistakes, and the mistakes turns to a disaster. But it's a good feel. And you know something, right now, we need a good feel. We need so much of what you offer. It's timing is everything.
I was watching something the other morning, and it was the stylist for Anne Hathaway, and she was talking about how your bodies change every day. Your look changes, your size changes, but go into your closet and find 3 things that make you feel sexy, beautiful, indestructible, whatever it is, grateful. And those are your 3 go-to that, you know, when you put those on, you can go out and conquer the world. And that's what I feel like your t-shirts do. When I put on my shirt, it's like, you know what? I got this.
Superman, Superwoman.
Right.
So I was at an event one day, and this guy walks in the room, and he's wearing my Gratitude Gangster shirt, and he did not know who I was. He clearly didn't see the booth behind me that had 1,000 shirts, and I'm like, I like your tee, and he was like, you don't understand. I couldn't come to the conference last year. My girlfriend bought it for me, and then I was taking care of my mom, and she had cancer, and I wore it every day to her with her chemo, and then she died, and I wore it underneath my suit. And then, you know, fast forward, I find out that I have cancer, and I'm wearing it to all my chemo, and I'm like, and I look at him, and I'm like, and I almost start to cry, and I'm like, you don't understand the gift you just gave me. I go, that's my shirt. And I hear, like, again, I hear those kind of little messages all the time, because you're right, it gives us power. It gives us, there was something about the Gratitude Gangster, which, again, for me is one of my favorites, because that was what my students came up with when I was teaching.
I love that.
So I was going to ask you, how did all of this happen? You are a teacher.
I am no longer in the school system, but I think what I have owned over the years is that that's my gift, is that I am a teacher.
You've always been a teacher.
I've always been a teacher, and I did not realize it. I did not want to be a teacher. I wanted to be an attorney. I didn't do well on standardized tests. My life took a completely different path. Somebody said, hey, why don't you go sub? And I was like, sub? I'm not subbing. So I started subbing, and the first day I walked in, and they were like, oh my God, you're a better math teacher than our teacher. You should teach us math. And I'm like, I have a bachelor's degree. I'm not going back to school. And long story short, I went back to school. I ended up 20 years in the school system, and some of my greatest moments were in the school system. But my last few years, so I had created a curriculum based on the 7 habits of highly effective teams, and that was my favorite thing. That, and I taught a nonviolence class based on Martin Luther King's principles of nonviolence. 2 of my favorite things I taught. And then, so the principal comes in and says, I need you to teach writing. I'm like, oh, I don't want to teach writing. I don't want to grade essays. I don't want to teach writing. So I'm like, I'm going to do it my way. So I started having, in the beginning when I was doing it, I couldn't manipulate it as much, but then they went to evidence-based writing, so I was able to pull up articles, Harvard studies, and things that I thought were interesting. So we did a lot of reading on gratitude, and then I had to teach them comparing and contrasting for the lovely state test. So we read these 2 articles on why these 2 teens went into a gang and then why they went out. There was a boy and a girl, and they were in separate cities, separate gangs. And I was with my 5th period class that I absolutely adored, loved these kids. And we were sitting in a circle, and I'm like, and I knew I could have been opening Pandora's box, and I said, why would people want to be in a gang? And this kid, Alex, looks at me, and he's like, Miss, we're gangsters. And I'm like, okay. He's like, we're gratitude gangsters. And I'm like, tell me more. He's like, we walk around and go, I like your shirt, and I like your shoes, and I like your hat. And this other kid, William, chimes in and goes, yeah, miss, that's who we are. And Alex goes, and we have those guns. I'm like, no guns. And he's like, come on, miss. You know the guns that have the flares that say thank you? He goes, that's what we carry. And in a minute, I stood there and I looked at them and I'm like, gratitude gangster.
Wow.
So now I came up with a definition that a gratitude gangster is skilled in the art of appreciation, lives life to the fullest, and finds magic in life's challenges. Because that's really what it's about. It's easy to be grateful when life is easy.
Do you have a shirt that has gratitude gangster definition?
I do.
Oh my gosh,
it's on the front and the back. It says the definition.
I love that.
I do. And that was kind of, and then I quit at the end of 2017. And I started making these silicone bracelets. And then 2018, February 14th, everything happened in Parkland. And my heart sank. So I called my principal and I said, please, I need to come in and see my kids. I'm gonna get teary-eyed right now thinking about it. I'm like, my heart is breaking. I need to go see those kids, my babies. I wasn't in Parkland, I was in Hialeah. So I happened to go to Hialeah and I saw them a couple days maybe after the catastrophe in Parkland. And I wore a ton of bracelets because I was like, anyone that I saw that was in that class or that was in my classes, I'm like, gratitude gangster, here, here, here. And it was just a beautiful way of being, being back in the classroom with them again, or in the lunchroom with them, and saying, you really impacted my life, in a way that you will never know. So now people are like, oh, there's the gratitude gangster, and everybody goes, what? So when people would say, oh, you're the t-shirt lady, I'm like, I am way more than the t-shirt lady. But now I own it. I own them both. So, but it was pretty incredible.
That's incredible. We have to and you're doing podcasts. You're getting your message out there to the public.
I haven't been doing as much as I was doing before. And I have so many stories like that. I just haven't been sharing them. And I think it's time for me again. I feel like God just sent me this little message the other day, and I opened up my mailbox. I don't check my mail very often. I check it once a month, which, whatever. Everything comes to you on the email. You don't need to check it that way. So I go to the mailbox, and I have this package in the mail, and it has my name on it, because my legal name is Michelle. Everybody calls me Vismaya. That's a whole nother story. So it says Michelle, and then it says Rubin, R-U-B-E-N, and then it's crossed off, and it says R-U-B-I-N, and I'm like, okay, it has my address. And I open it up, and it's a picture, and then, the paint cards when you go to Home Depot and you're deciding what paint to get? And there's a message on it, and it was this beautiful message. I still have no idea who sent it to me. And they're like, thank you for being a I don't remember the exact words, but a beautiful creative force in the world.
Wow.
And that was like a little nudge from, for me, from God saying, it's time for you to start speaking again. It's time for you to start sharing. Because, life has been some
challenge.
There's been challenges. There's been some things, my dad died, my stepdad died, my mom died. I was in a car accident recently. But then the message again is always there's something to be grateful for. Or to say, I think the message is even to say thank you, even during the challenges. And that was a big lesson for me also this past few months.
Even through the challenges, because you show up every day.
They test your belief in the things that you write. So there's your test. It's not to hurt you, it's just to remind you. Gratitude, you can feel it or you can live it. And then what's going on to you right now is living it. So here we go. I think, it's funny because you, the person, the shirts are great. Don't get me wrong. That is, but it's you, the person, that's magical.
Yeah.
The way you affect people, the way people come to you, the people that talk to you. Everybody always surrounded you when you were in here. Everybody wanted a piece of this stuff. I tell you, Gratitude Gangster. Back in the day, the Ghetto Brothers was my gang in the Bronx, because you always needed a place. And I had great parents. I didn't need this, but I had to survive in the street, so we joined that. And I tell Dawn, I says, Dawn, I want to make the cafe gang. And she says, man, the word gang. But you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Gratitude.
If we can go by Vismaya's definition of Gratitude Gangster,
Oh,
then
you like
we're
that,
okay.
right? But a gangster, is a cluster of people. They get together and have the same thought. And these guys took it to another dimension. This is fantastic stuff.
It was funny because I've gone to so many places to speak, and I would say, introduce me as Vismaya Rubin, founder of Living in Gratitude Today, #1 Gratitude Gangster, and they're like, we can't do that. And I'm like, okay.
They didn't want that.
No, they were like highly offended. Like I got a lot of
feedback,
of pushback when I would say that, and people were like, no, you're the gratitude goddess. You're the gratitude, and I'm like, that's not goddess energy. Yes, I'm a goddess, but the energy behind Gratitude Gangster is like you really have to push through sometimes, because life can be challenging, and to find those moments. And when I would share the story of how it came up, people were like, oh, now I get it.
Yeah, it's the story behind it.
It's the story behind it. So then the pushback, wasn't as bad. But I had kids, 9th graders, keeping gratitude charts, and they looked at me like I was nuts when I walked in the room, because I was like, oh, we're going to keep gratitude charts. And that was my favorite thing to read. And one kid, I can see his face, I cannot remember his name right now, but he would write, my brother took me to McDonald's. The next month, my brother took me to KFC. The next month, my brother took me to Taco Bell. And I would write back, okay, I don't want to hear any more about where your brother took you to eat. And then he'd write back, he goes, Miss, you really read these? I'm like, that's my favorite thing. Are you kidding? I'm like, no more fast food restaurants. Let's find like some things that are really special that happened. And to watch those kids shift their mindset, because nothing else changed. They still went to the same school, they still had the same teachers, they still had the same parents, they still had the same siblings, but to see the little shifts that happened with them simply by looking for those moments that brought them joy every day was amazing, because it changed them.
Do you miss teaching those kids or kids?
That's a question that has been asked of me a lot lately.
Or anybody.
I miss believing that on a regular basis I made a difference. I miss having a captive audience, because as crazy as it sounds, I was able to be, and I'm gonna again get teary-eyed, what are you people doing to me today? But I was able to be the most vulnerable with them. And that wasn't that I shared every part of my story, my life, because I knew that I was the adult. But I knew that by sharing some of the imperfections in my own life, and by sharing those moments of how I was able to shift them and turn them around and take control of them again, it made a difference for those kids. So in that aspect, I absolutely miss it. But I will say it this way, I am not the appropriate I still have a license. I could still go back. I don't think I'm the right fit right now.
Well, the bureaucracy of public school right now is a little different.
Sure. Yes, we'll leave it at that.
There's a lot of things in the state of Florida that are different, that are making our teachers leave, which is why I think homeschooling has become so big. I was talking to my daughter-in-law. I think they want to homeschool the baby, and they have enough friends that have kids now this age that they'll be able to joint share homeschooling, at least until a certain point, because of so much of the stuff in the book banning and the things that the next generation is just appalled by.
I think the teaching of adults is your next calling.
I
think
have
you have to teach older people who just make decisions right now. I think that's where it's lacking.
For those that have forgotten that there's something to be grateful for. In every moment, there is that silver lining, as bad as it can be, and what you went through with your parents, and I went through it with my dad, and you've gone through it with your parents, and it's horrible when you're going through it. But then I look on the other side, and the relationship with my siblings has gotten better because I lost my dad. So I am incredibly grateful for that. As sad as my dad had to pass for that to happen, I now have this as the next step going forward. But you have to really stop and find that vulnerability of finding the joy in there while you're sitting and crying, whatever it is, and find the gratitude. And everyone I know, but they have to be reminded, which is why you're here, I think, to remind everyone.
Thank you for watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show After Hours. If you want to be a part of the show or simply call in, that's 866-224-5422. We'll see you next time.